Mantap. Oke, saya cobain lagi. Saya kira
cấp chụp nó mình lấy cùng ấy.
ada kopi yang dari Sumatera enak artinya.
Oke, tetap di urban circuit.
Ya udah closing. Akhir kata saya Oki Julia.
Saya Ubang sebagai campersnya.
Kita berdua harus pamit dari Urban Street Food.
Iya dong. Pamit. Tidur. Besok kerja lagi.
Udah nggak usah peduliin kamera. Kita ambil kopi lagi. Ayo kopi. Bodo amat kerja. Enak.
The Indonesian government will prudently consider to enter COVID-19 endemic stage. President Jokowi orders ministers to revise JHT regulation. Good evening, it's Tuesday, 22nd February 2022. Market Headlines is ready to provide you information from business and economic with me, Wicky Adrian. You're watching Market Headlines. As the government continuing to learn from foreign countries that have commenced their transition to the endemic stage, government ensures that Indonesia will eventually enter the endemic stage with due care and consideration given to scientific data.
Coordinating Minister for Maritime Affairs and Investment Luhut Binsar Panjaitan has warned against a rushed transition from the pandemic to the endemic stage, saying the country needs to be prudent in planning such a transition. With the government continuing to learn from foreign countries that have commenced their transition to the endemic stage, Indonesia will eventually enter the endemic stage with due care and consideration given to scientific data, the minister remarked. Residents must not compare the transition to the COVID-19 endemic stage in foreign countries with the situation in Indonesia.
Meskipun beberapa negara lain sudah mulai memberlakukan kebijakan pelonggaran untuk transisi endemik seperti Inggris, Denmark, hingga Singapura, namun kita tidaklah perlu latah atau ikut-ikutan seperti negara tersebut. Kita akan melakukan transisi secara bertahap, bertingkat, dan berlanjut dengan berbasiskan data indikator kesehatan, ekonomi, dan sosial budaya, serta terus menerapkan prinsip kehati-hatian.
Panjaitan informed that the government will monitor the preconditions for the endemic, which include a high level of immunity in citizens, low COVID-19 case count as per WHO indicators, and sufficient healthcare and health response facilities. IDX Channel reports.
Coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs expects the peak of Omicron infections in Indonesia to be reached around mid-March 2022. Meantime, although COVID-19 cases have increased, the government ensures that bed occupancy rate is still under control.
The peak of Omicron infections in Indonesia is expected to be reached in the next 3 weeks or around mid-March 2022. Coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs Erlangga Hartarto has said, COVID-19 cases outside Java and Bali have recorded an increase with their proportion reaching 23% of the national active cases. Although COVID-19 cases have increased, the bed occupancy rate is still under control, considering that Omicron symptoms are not as severe as those caused by the Delta variant, the minister noted.
Pemerintah terus memantau dan menyiapkan langkah karena ini puncaknya dalam 2-3 minggu ke depan yang perlu diantisipasi. Nah, meskipun kasus meningkat secara keseluruhan, keterisian rumah sakit masih terkendali. Secara nasional 38%, namun di luar Jawa Bali kurang dari 30%, kecuali Sumatera Selatan, Sulut, Sulteng, Bengkulu, Lampung, Kalsel, dan Sumut yang antara 35 sampai dengan 31%, yang tinggi di Sumsel 46%.
The minister added that in terms of the first dose vaccination coverage, 3 provinces have recorded vaccination rates of below 70%. Meanwhile, the second dose coverage in South Kalimantan, North Sulawesi, Central Sulawesi, West Sulawesi, North Maluku, Aceh, West Papua, and Papua is below 50%. Meantime, booster vaccination coverage in all provinces outside Java and Bali is still below 10%. Indonesia is currently experiencing a surge in COVID-19 cases due to the newly emerged Omicron variant. IDX Channel reports.
Minister of Health affirms that the government will disburse the incentives for health workers in February 2022. Not only that, the government will also pay arrears for hospital claims treatment of 25 trillion rupiah.
Minister of Health Budi Gunadi Sadikin stated that the government will pay the health worker incentives in December 2021 in February 2022. The reason is that now his party has received a budget of 12 trillion rupiah from the Minister of Finance Sri Mulyani Indrawati for medical personnel incentives.
Sedangkan kalau insentif nakes sekitar 10 triliunan sudah dibayarkan. Memang yang Desember karena cycle anggarannya itu tidak bisa dibayarkan di bulan itu juga karena harus tunggu tutup bukunya, itu akan kita bayarkan dimulai tahun ini ya. Tahun ini sendiri kita sudah mendapatkan alokasi anggaran dari Ibu Menkyu sekitar 12 triliun rupiah dan sedang dalam finalisasi, mudah-mudahan bulan ini sudah bisa kita bayarkan untuk insentif nakesnya.
In addition, the government will also pay arrears for hospital claims treatment of 25 trillion rupiah. This payment was delayed because at the end of 2021, the budget was not sufficient. Of the 25 trillion arrears, some have already completed the clearing process. Before paying, his party is processing it to the Financial and Development Supervisory Agency. IDX Channel reports.
Moving on to global update, Russian president ordered military forces into the occupied areas of Donetsk and Luhansk on Monday night. Meanwhile, Hong Kong rushes to build COVID-19 isolation wards. More stories on today's International Minute.
Under the absurdly false guise of peacekeeping functions, Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered his military forces into the occupied areas of Donetsk and Luhansk on Monday night, beginning a new invasion into Ukraine that Western leaders had warned of for months, and yet still seemed to catch them off guard. The EU and the US vowed to impose sanctions and called for an urgent meeting of the United Nations Security Council. India's government will slap a 30% tax, its highest tax ban on income from cryptocurrencies and other digital assets like NFTs. Though the tax sits in India's highest band, it's not necessarily unwelcome. The move has raised investors' hopes India won't outright ban cryptocurrencies, a move India was considering just a few months ago, and instead that is sign of official acceptance. It's estimated there are between 15 and 20 million crypto investors in India. Switzerland's financial watchdog said it was in contact with Credit Suisse after media outlets published results of coordinated Panama Papers-style investigations into a leak of data on thousands of accounts held at the bank in past decades. One person leaked the information on the accounts, which were held in decades ranging from the 1940s to 2010s. The German daily shared it with the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project and 46 other news organizations, including the New York Times, Britain's Guardian, and France's Le Monde. The Kaita cruise terminal, where the city's old airport once stood, would be turned into a dedicated COVID facility with 1,000 beds to mitigate overburdened public hospitals. The conversion of public housing estates, rental of commercial hotels and indoor sports centers will also add an extra 20,000 extra units for people who tested positive for COVID-19 but had no or mild symptoms for isolation. IDX Channel reports.
Indonesia is officially confirmed as MotoGP host. Market headlines will be right back after the break.
Ingin menjalani kehidupan yang mapan dan masa depan yang sejahtera? Sikapi uang dengan bijak. Mulailah berinvestasi di pasar modal. Dengan membeli saham melalui Bursa Efek maupun perusahaan sekuritas, Anda dapat menikmati hasil keuntungan dari perusahaan-perusahaan besar yang tersedia. Pastikan Anda berinvestasi di perusahaan yang memiliki izin resmi. Cerdas mengelola, masa depan sejahtera. Otoritas Jasa Keuangan, lembaga pengawas industri jasa keuangan yang terpercaya.
Sektor UMKM hanya akan dikenakan pajak final 0,5%.
Awali hari Anda dengan informasi dunia ekonomi yang diulas dari berbagai sudut pandang. Power Breakfast, Senin sampai Jumat, jam 8.30, hanya di IDX Channel.
Kenapa sih namanya mesti Aruna?
Jadi Aruna ini dari bahasa Sanskerta yang artinya matahari yang terbit di laut. Harapannya sih Aruna ini bisa jadi harapan untuk masyarakat pesisir Indonesia. Kalau dari Aruna sendiri, kami itu adalah startup yang fokusnya untuk memajukan ekonomi maritim atau marine and fishery technology yang kita ciptakan. Nah, idenya itu bermula dengan saya dan 2 orang kawan.
Melalui Bursa Efek Indonesia adalah lompatan besar menuju transformasi pertumbuhan perusahaan. Bergabunglah dengan ratusan perusahaan yang telah berkembang pesat dengan Go Public. Go Public, lebih baik.
Welcome back. As conveyed by the Minister of State Secretary, President Joko Widodo ordered Minister of Manpower to revise the old age insurance regulations, or known as JHT program.
President Joko Widodo ordered the Coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs and the Minister of Manpower to revise the old age insurance regulations, or known as the JHT program. This was conveyed by the Minister of State Secretary Pratikno. Pratikno explained that rules for disbursing JHT funds needed to be simplified to make it easier for people to submit claims, especially when workers are laid off. Therefore, the JHT rules will be further regulated in the revision of the Ministerial Regulation of Manpower or other regulations.
Tadi pagi Bapak Presiden sudah memanggil Pak Menko Perekonomian, Ibu Menteri Tenaga Kerja, dan Bapak Presiden sudah memerintahkan agar tata cara dan persyaratan pembayaran JHT itu disederhanakan, dipermudah, agar dana JHT itu bisa diambil oleh individu pekerja yang sedang mengalami masa-masa sulit sekarang ini, terutama yang sedang menghadapi PHK.
At the same time, Pratikno said that Jokowi also invited workers to support a conducive situation in the country. And for information, the latest JHT regulations are contained in the Minister of Manpower Regulation number 2 of 2022, which invites a lot of criticism from various parties, especially the workers. IDX Channel reports.
Through the signing of a cooperation agreement with Dorna Sports, Indonesia had been officially confirmed as the host of the MotoGP Championship in Mandalika, West Nusa Tenggara. Moreover, Tourism and Creative Economy Minister Sandiaga Uno lauded the West Nusa Tenggara provincial government for moving quickly to anticipate a significant increase in accommodation and transportation prices due to the MotoGP event. As per the governor's regulation, the accommodation zone closest to the MotoGP venue has been allowed to hike room rates by 3 times. For outer zone, the fare can be increased a maximum of 2 times and the farthest zone a maximum of 1 time.
Setelah penandatanganan kesepakatan kerjasama dengan Dorna Sports, Indonesia sekarang dikukuhkan memiliki hak pelaksanaan gelaran MotoGP 2022 dan dengan kerjasama semua pihak, insya Allah 18-20 Maret ini akan berjalan dengan sukses dan lancar, insya Allah. Saya mengapresiasi upaya pemerintah daerah, pemerintah NTB yang bergerak cepat mengantisipasi naiknya harga akomodasi karena sempat meningkat secara signifikan baik akomodasi maupun transportasi.
After officially inaugurated by President Joko Widodo, the new National Food Agency had urged stakeholders in the national food sector to prioritize and enhance collaboration and synergy.
The National Food Agency head Prasetyo Wibowo, inaugurated by President Joko Widodo on Monday, urged stakeholders in the national food sector to prioritize and enhance collaboration and synergy. The National Food Agency will involve ministries relevant to the food sector, including the coordinating Ministry of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of State-owned Enterprises, Ministry of Trade, and Ministry of Industry in the agency programs, he remarked.
Artinya kita memang harus bersinergi, berkolaborasi dengan seluruh kementerian, lembaga, stakeholders pangan yang ada. Juga kita akan melibatkan beberapa pihak seperti kementerian terkait, Kementerian BUMN, Kementerian Pertanian, Kementerian Perdagangan, Kementerian Perindustrian, Kemenko Perekonomian.
Last year, President enacted Regulation Number 66 of 2021 that established the National Food Agency. The new agency has 11 functions comprising coordinating, conceiving, and designing food stock policies, ensuring food price and stock stability and security, addressing food and nutrient vulnerabilities, as well as handling diversification of consumption food. IDX Channel reports.
Head of the National Planning and Development Agency, or Bappenas, Suharso Monwarfa, believes that the digital technology has the potential to create new jobs for 20 to 45 million workers. Hence, Indonesia must conduct economic transformation in the post-COVID-19 period, such as by improving the skills of Indonesian workers so that the economy will not only recover, but also grow higher beyond 5% per year, such as projection from Bappenas that in 2023, the economic growth will be around 5%. Such as projection from Bappenas that in 2023, the economic growth will be around 5.3 to 5.9%. In addition to the use of digital technology, the economy is directed to be more inclusive and sustainable so that Indonesia can achieve its net zero emissions target by 2060.
Digitalisasi, dan sekarang sudah mengalami digitalisasi. Ada sekitar 24 juta pekerjaan akan hilang, tetapi pada saat yang sama akan terbentuk jenis-jenis pekerjaan baru yang juga menawarkan pekerjaan antara 20 juta sampai 45 juta pekerjaan. Kita harus meredesain transformasi ekonomi yang tidak hanya membawa ekonomi kembali ke kondisi sebelum krisis, namun juga kondisi yang lebih baik.
XL Axiata records 1.3 trillion rupiah net profit in 2021 right after the break on market headlines.
Data posted a net profit.
Perbincangan hangat tentang isu dan kebijakan ekonomi terkini yang diulas secara mendalam bersama narasumber terpercaya. Market Review Senin sampai Jumat, jam 10 waktu Indonesia bagian Barat, hanya di IDX Channel.
Inspirasinya dari mana? Bisa yakin gitu untuk kita membentuk Home Care 24.
Karena satu panggilan jiwa ya, di Indonesia belum ada menggeluti dunia bisnis health tech.
Jangan cuma ngelihat langit, tapi juga ingat bahwa kaki kita tuh masih di tanah gitu. Jangan cuma lihat cuan, tapi ingat masih ada risiko kerugian.
Apa yang dipelajari dari rugi? Karena kan pasti ada momen di mana seorang investor itu dia rugi, portofolionya itu merah.
Nomor satu banget yang paling penting disadari oleh pemula yaitu manajemen resiko. Investasi itu bukan untuk memenuhi kebutuhan hidup, harus tetap kerja. Trading untuk membantu kita mencapai tujuan hidup.
Jadi PT Paragon itu kan memang masih sebuah private company gitu.
Tetap ada responsibility, saya setuju tadi.
Mendevelop tim, ya kan, what can I help you, empower gitu kan, gimana supaya prosesnya lebih efektif.
Lebih bisa berkembang lagi, punya.
Melalui Bursa Efek Indonesia adalah lompatan besar menuju transformasi pertumbuhan perusahaan. Bergabunglah dengan ratusan perusahaan yang telah berkembang pesat dengan Go Public. Go Public, lebih baik.
Welcome back at the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement. Earlier today, JSI was opened at the level of 6,879.82, and then approaching the closing time on the first session, the index was on the level of 6,847.79. Then the index was showing weakening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 6,861.1. In short, JSI went down 0.59%. And next, we're going to see the sectoral movement leading the dynamics of today's trading. We got infrastructure as the leader of the strengthening trend that went up 0.79%, and energy went up 0.03%. And we got transportation and logistics as the leader of the weakening trend that went down 1.57%, and cyclic went down 1.45%. And moving on to top gainers and top losers, here are the key highlights from today's trading session. Auto went up 0.47% to the level of 16,075 rupiah per share. EMTK went up 0.48% to the level of 2,080 rupiah per share. DOIT went up 9.5% to the level of 392 rupiah per share. And IPPE went up 10.42% to the level of 530 rupiah per share. Meantime, the top losers for today's trading, we've got Telkom went down 1.83% to the level of 4,290 rupiah per share. Bank BRI or BBRI went down 0.89% to the level of 4,450 rupiah per share. BBYB went down 1.64% to the level of 2,400 rupiah per share. And MDKA went down 0.26% to the level of 3,800 rupiah per share. And this is the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. Opened at the level of 14,329. Rupiah was also showing weakening trend towards US dollar. Was closed at the level of 14,349. In summary, rupiah went down 0.25%. Supported by revenue growth throughout 2021, XL Axiata successfully posted a net profit of 1.3 trillion rupiah.
Throughout 2021, XL Axiata posted a net profit of 1.3 trillion rupiah, which was supported by total revenue of 26.75 trillion rupiah, an increase compared to the gain in 2020, which was 26.01 trillion rupiah. Based on the company's financial reports, last year, XL was able to reduce total expenses to 22.76 trillion from 23.38 trillion rupiah in 2020. Thus, the company's gross profit throughout 2021 will be 3.99 trillion rupiah. The total profit before income tax for the period ending December 31st, 2021 was recorded at 1.71 trillion rupiah, or much higher than the previous year, with the total income tax expense for the 2021 fiscal year of 419.73 billion rupiah. The profit for the year recorded by XL last year was 1.3 trillion rupiah. Meantime, throughout 2020, XL's net profit was 371.6 billion rupiah. IDX Channel reports.
Cisadane Sawit Raya is still confident about the pace of business this year. The company targets its production and sales to grow by 10% in 2022.
Supported by the increase in crude palm oil prices, which are predicted to continue for the next month, Cisadane Sawit Raya is still confident about the pace of business this year. According to the Director of Finance and Development of Cisadane Sawit Raya, the main catalyst for the increase in sales and profits this year is the increase in CPO prices. Even so, the management could not talk in more detail regarding the sales target and net profit targeted by the company in 2022. Saman said that currently his party is still carrying out a careful calculation process looking at the development of ASP CPO for the next 1 to 2 months. On the other hand, related to the volume of production and sales of CPO, he explained it is targeted to grow by 10% compared to the last year's realization. Previously, the company had explained about the business plan throughout the year. One of them is the plan to build a second palm oil mill in South Tapanuli Regency, North Sumatra. IDX Channel reports.
Pancamitra Multi Perdana targets export sales in 2022 to increase by 12.13% compared to the achievement in 2021. For information, total sales as of November 2021 were 18,000 tons. Pancamitra Multi Perdana Corporate Secretary Christian Jonathan is optimistic that exports can reach the level of 22,000 tons by the end of the year. He said that this growth target was driven by a number of catalysts, notably the strong growth of importers in the United States. In the period from January to September 2021, exports to the American market reached $113.57 million, up 9.49% as an annual basis. Meantime, for the domestic market, the company targets sales growth in the range of 250 up to 300% for 2022. Market or Capital Market Channel. I'm Wicky Adrian. Have a nice evening and stay safe.
Halo, selamat pagi pemirsa. Senang sekali kami berdua kembali